All right, greetings and welcome back once again to Just to Make Music, where that's where we're here for, just to make music and using whatever is available. Okay, old guitars, old keyboards, old microphones, Pro Tools Intro, which is absolutely free, and the plugin that comes with it, Expand2, with just about every instrument you can think of. Look, we're all about just making music on this channel, okay? And just doing it on a budget, like a serious budget. We don't want to spend extra money on anything. So last week we mixed up some drums using the free software, okay? I mean, it was just the basic stuff, the basic kick, snare, hi-hats. We just mixed it really quick. Look, it can take you like 10, 15 minutes and you'll have the basic drum track that you can just loop over, okay? And you can add to it with some other stuff. And that's what we're going to do this week is we're going to add some effects, more loops, and then start combining them together. And look, everything's free. Okay. So you could buy some plugins probably. I don't know what's out there. Easy Drummer or Tune Drummer or whatever stuff they have, $200-300 or more, whatever. All I'm about is look, just use whatever's available. And if you're on a budget like I am, just use, I mean, it's right there in Pro Tools and Expand. So we did that. Now we're just going to continue on and make some pretty awesome sounding loops with real drums, live drums, and then go from there. Okay. So with that being said, just open up Pro Tools where we were last week with that initial drum track we laid out, and let's just add to it and get going. Okay. Open it up. All right. Let's go. Okay, so open up your Pro Tools session, that one that we were on last time, and click up here under tracks. We did an instrumental track. It was the drums. So we choose drums right here. It comes up on the screen. And this is what we did in the last session that we talked about, right? As you'll recall. A brief recap is that for those of you that didn't stick with us making these beats, but it was super simple. This is the loop, the drum loop, if you will, 4 bars that we put together. I'm just using drums out of Expand, old school. They were just drums, and we pulled up old school, and basically you have kicks, snares, hi-hats, cymbals. Down here was our kick, just like on a standard drum kit. It was a kick and then a snare. Kick, snare. Kick, snare, 4 beats worth. And then up here was the hats. And we programmed that in there real quick like, and it sounded something like this. Highlight the whole loop. But this is all we did with the out of the box in Expand, a little live drum kit. And we did that around and around, and then we ended at the end and looped it. And then these are all programmed in, so they sound real robotic through here, right? Unless you use a velocity. Go down and open up this little box right here, and it'll show the automation lanes. Pull up automation, and you'll see from the pull down, there's a number of things that you can automate. But for now, when we're just doing drums, all we want to do is just automate velocity. And what this velocity does is just makes it more humanized. Instead of everything along the top or one, robotic along the top, we just do every other one. You just put these at kind of a random where you want them, right? One up, one down. It doesn't really matter so much, but that's kind of how you would play the drums. If you're kicking a foot and playing a, snare and doing this and that, you don't just go at all the same pressure, the same level, the same volume. I mean, it's human, right? So that's what this does, is humanize. 4th bar, halfway through it, you got to end on a little upbeat right here so you can turn around and start again. And that's how you ended it right here. You went up on an up note. So you randomize all these right through here, and then I just took the pencil up here. Higher, you just draw it in there, and it ends on an up note. Go back to the Smart tool, and then you'll see when you go from here to here. Now listen to it. It'll just go, and it'll go up, and then it'll loop. See how that does that? But this sounds like a drum, kind of like a program drum. I'll give you that. That's where this expand thing comes in, where you can change it. You pull this up, see, and you can change what kind of kicks you want, what kind of snares you want, what kind of, you can change all these things around. And I would expect you would go and experiment with all these. You can change this to whatever you want. How about that? It was a kick drum, now it's a tom drum. See how much difference that makes in the overall effect of the drums you're playing, just with these 4 channels or parts, if you will. That's toms instead of the kick drum. You can change every one of these expand channels. Just go in there and play with them. You can make all sorts of sounds and effects and everything with just that repeatable drum loop. Go back to the default right there, right? So you have that one, you have that basic. Now duplicate this track. Let's make it to clips. Okay, and now let's just duplicate this track. And by duplicate, I don't want to duplicate it and put it out here to the right. I want to actually duplicate this entire drum track and make a brand new Pro Tools track in the system. So highlight drums, right click on it, and then all you do is just go down here midway to duplicate. And when you click duplicate, that is going to duplicate there. 1 for 1. You just made a copy of it. So if you play this one and mute the top one, it's going to be the exact same thing as the top. When you go to expand in this new one, you go change everything. Default it to whatever you want and change each one of these. I made them into some loops. Polysynth, synth bass, do whatever, but use the same. Look, use the same pattern. So the top one is the drums. This one has some guitar or bass or piano or synth or whatever you want. So now listen, this is the top one. Now this one is the exact same notes, just a duplicate, only we added in some other parts into it. Let's put, for instance, let's highlight this one, synth basses. We want to just do a bass line out of this. So that's pretty cool, right? I mean, that's the drum track. All you did was make a copy of it, a duplicate copy, go into expand and add some effects right in here, whatever else you want to hear. Look, you can do this up to 8 times. Also change the BPM. We want to speed it up a little bit. We want to go 120 instead of 100. You just speed it up, both of them. Want to go to 90. Type in 90, return, slow it down. And on that note, I think we're going to bring it to an end for the week, end on a high note, if you will. So look, hopefully you're getting something out of these things, these little sessions we're having here. And look, with all the stuff going on in the world today, okay, all this outside stuff bombarding you daily, you need to put it all aside. Give yourself some time during the day or night or whenever, okay? Sit back, man, and just take time to just make music, okay? It is good for your soul. I will see you next week. Good night.